President Trump took a dig at UK Prime Minister Starmer over the Iran war. He says, we would have gotten more help if the king were in charge. What's this?
The king is fantastic. We spent a lot of time together. We had a lot of talk. We talked about this also. And he loves his country, and he's a great king, and he's a great friend of mine. And I think if he were doing that, if that were up to him, he would have probably helped us with Iran. He would have followed the suggestions we made with respect to Ukraine, because, you know, we have some disagreements on Ukraine, and not having to do with NATO so much as European countries.
Well, the king's okay, but the politicians are another story. The split with Europe getting serious. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz says that Iran has humiliated America. President Trump just responded on Truth Social. He says Germany should spend more time on ending the war with Russia and Ukraine and fixing his broken country, and less time on interfering with those that are getting rid of Iran's nuclear threat. U.S. Ambassador to NATO is Matthew Whitaker, joins me now. Mr. Ambassador, the President is talking about withdrawing some troops from Germany. That would be a serious crack in the NATO alliance, wouldn't it?
Good to be with you, Stuart. And it's never a boring day here at NATO, as you can imagine. Obviously, we have spent billions of dollars, contributed billions of dollars to the German economy, and had tens of thousands of troops stationed in Germany. And it's a two-way street with our allies. You know, the United States needs to get value from our allies, because not only is NATO a military alliance, it's also a political alliance. And so when we have allies that are not supporting the United States, that say things like that are just not true, to be quite honest, we have completely crushed Iran. We have eliminated their navy. We have eliminated their nuclear ambitions. And you know, we continue to have full and complete control of the canal and the strait. And so you add all that together, and you know, the chancellor is just absolutely wrong. But you know, the United States wants to have allies that are not just capable, but are also good to work with and can show up when we want their support. And right now we have several allies here in Europe that are not doing that, not following through.
A top Pentagon official says our military operations in Iran have cost about $25 billion so far. What do you say to voters who may not be happy with that price tag?
It would cost a lot more to have Iran with a nuclear weapon. The blackmail that they would exert from the world and from the United States if they were nuclear capable, we would pay any price to make sure that didn't happen. And so, you know, we spend a lot of money on our military. We're going to approach over $1 trillion budget. President Trump's proposing a $1.5 trillion budget. And so, you know, we're using that military. We're using that military effectively. It is the best in the world, the best trained, and that is obviously already accounted for. And so in the United States, how do we maintain being the world superpower? It's by spending money and doing operations like we see with Epic Fury, which make the world a better place.
You get what you pay for. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us today. We'll see you again real soon.